bum, ba 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 bum, ba 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 bum. Trying to make it so I don't look like I've got antlers. Hello, everybody. All right. Oh, I threw up one of my tapestries because I didn't want just the plain blinds behind me. It looks kind of like that, ugly and blank. But I also am not digging the whole position of the. Maybe we will zoom in a bit. Let's see. Ba 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 bum 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 buddy bum bum bum. Thank you for your patience as I adjust my camera. Hello, everybody. Welcome to another Monday night mini medicine card readings. I am Patrick, your friendly neighborhood shaman, and we are going to pull some cards from the medicine card deck, which is why it's called mini medicine card readings, because this is the medicine card deck. Or each card has a different totem animal on it. And so how this works is this nobody, I was late, maybe nobody's coming. I see one person. So welcome, thank you. The way this works, if you're new here, is the first 5 people to say yes in the comments gets a 1 card reading from the medicine card deck. And once all 5 spots are spoken for, hi Tiffany, awesome, I got you on the list. I swear I just had a pen. Bum ba ba bum 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 buddy bum 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 bum. All right, thank you, Tiffany. So the first 5 people to say yes in the comments get a 1 card reading. Hi, Sarah Lily. And once all 5 spots are spoken for, you are not out of luck. We're not going to ignore you. But all you need to do then is choose a number between 1 and 5. And pay attention to that card when it comes up. And I promise that even though technically it's perhaps aimed at someone else, Spirit has this amazing way of interweaving messages so that, and if you're watching this on replay, the same thing. You know, you obviously can't say yes in the comments and get a card, but you can still choose a number between 1 and 5 and then watch for that particular card. And I promise that whatever comes out of my mouth will make sense and that there will be some portion of the reading that pertains to you. So, and then at the end, the reason I do 5 cards, hi Anna. The reason I do 5 cards is because if you were to come to me for a full-blown reading, I usually do a 5-card reading, and you'll see it's called the medicine wheel spread. But so each of the individual cards that we do then get put into that bigger spread. So at the end, after all 5 cards have been done individually, I will do a community reading with all 5 cards together in one spread. And you, if nothing else, it'll give you a sample or a taste of what it's like to come to me for an actual reading. Of course, if I'm one-on-one with you, we can delve into more details and such, right? If it's a community thing, then there's not as many details. It's got to be a little more generalized. But when I get to that point, You know, it's a community reading, but you might find individually that every single card makes sense to you. And if that is so, knowing that you are the center of your reality, you are the creator of your reality, claim it. That reading is for you. Hi, Carly. Yes. We have one spot left. And so, what I like to do beforehand, before we get started, is I am going to set sacred space so that we are actually in ceremonial space with my handy little drum, my little drum with the big voice. This is my bear drum. It's bear skin. I think I'm going to, whoops, out. There we go. And what I do when I set sacred space, I'm basically calling in the four directions, the spirits of the upper world, the lower world, and the compassionate spirits of the middle world to hold space around us. Hi, Anna. I already got you. And so it creates an energetic container around us, and it keeps other lower things out, and it gives us the chance to focus on what we're doing. So this is how I do that. Spirits of the earth, spirits of the air, spirits of the fire, spirits of the water, spirits of the upper world, spirits of the lower world, compassionate spirits of the middle world, the Fae, the spirits of the land, the ancestors of the land. Thank you for your presence. Thank you for holding us in your love and your light. Only love is invited. Only love gets in. Oh. All right. I always breathe a little bit easier after setting sacred space. So, hi everybody. Got people coming in. Hi, Mike and April and Zoe and Zoe and Zoe. I feel like Romper Room. I see Tommy and Katie. Welcome everybody. Thank you for joining me if you're coming in late. I am Patrick, your friendly neighborhood shaman. And we are going to pull some medicine cards. And so how this works, I've got one spot left. The first 5 people to say yes in the comments get a 1 card reading. And then when we're done with the first 5 cards, I do a community. I take each of those 5 cards, and I make a spread with all of them, and I do a community reading with all 5 cards. So there's still room for one more person if someone wants a 1 card reading. And if you don't, you can still take part by choosing a number between 1 and 5 and paying attention to that card when it comes up. And Spirit has this beautiful way of interweaving messages. So even though it may be aimed at someone else, your message, whatever it is you need to know at that moment, will somehow be interwoven, right? And I haven't said this for a while, but while you're watching this, even if a card isn't your number, if there is something in a different card that resonates with you, claim it. That's for you too, right? Listen to your heart. If it resonates with you, that's your heart saying that as well, right? because we're multidimensional beings and there's no way we can fit into a single card. Anyway, all right, so here we go. Our first card is for Tiffany. And if you're new here, you get the hang of it. So, welcome everybody. I'm so happy you're here. And I always forget to do little plugs at the beginning, and by the end, a lot of people have left. So if you enjoy my videos, please share them, please like them. That helps other people find them. And if you haven't already, you can subscribe to my channel. And I have over 6 years worth of videos of readings and ceremonies and stories and songs, all kinds of stuff. So check it out. Enjoy yourself. Welcome to Perching Wolf Studios. And if you would like to support your friendly neighborhood shaman in a different way, I do have my PayPal, my Venmo link in the descriptions. So anything you wish to give is so met with such gratitude. So this is my day job. And so every little bit helps. Every little bit goes straight to me to support me on my path, so I have more to share with you on your path. So it's a beautiful reciprocity. So, alrighty. Card 1 for Tiffany. All right, Tiffany, card number 1 is Lizard in Reverse. Trying to do it so there's no glare. Lizard is the dreamer. Trying to feel into it, to what exactly the message is. In reverse, lizard, so lizard medicine, lizard is the master manifester. Lizard spends so much time in the dream time, in the spirit realm, dreaming, dreaming life into being, right? And so when lizard comes up, it's about dreaming. And in reverse, it's a reminder to you of your place in your life, your power in your life to manifest anything. Like Abraham Hicks says, if you can picture it, if you can dream it, you can be it or have it or experience it, right? No limits. So don't get caught into that. I was just thinking of this the other day. I was driving somewhere. I was thinking about everything is vibration, right? And we get these visuals coming at us. We have traffic lights, we've got cars, we got all these, the regular run-of-the-mill daily routines that happen. And it's easy to get caught in those and to be hypnotized by them. It's easy to get caught into the, how do I put this? We get caught in that whole mindset that only the physical is real, and there might be, spiritual things as well, but it's almost like they're in competition against each other. Like, I don't have time to meditate. I don't have time to dream. I have to take care of these other things. When if you would prioritize alignment first, right? Sit in meditation, sit in silence, and just visualize, just pretend, just go to the land of make believe and ask, like, what do I want in my life? What do I want my life to look like? And then focus on that, pretend, play with it, um, and realize that everything in the seen world comes from the unseen world. Everything in the physical world is a reflection of something in the unseen world. Um, just like I remember back in my early days of discovering metaphysics and stuff, I don't remember the guy's name, but he was living in poverty someplace, and it was like there was this place he always walked past. And every time he walked past it, he pictured trains. This was really in the olden days. He pictured trains coming in and going out, carrying things to the place and taking things away from the place, and these buildings there with all these workers and stuff. And it was like he was setting the scene for his own business, his own company. And at some point, it came to be just like he envisioned it. Um, we get caught in God. There's so many different directions. And when I pause, a lot of times it's like, okay, which string do I unravel? Which direction do I go? Because there's so many. Um, we get caught into, how do I put this? What we assume is physical laws of nature, of physics, etc. And or we get caught in the patterns of, well, I need to do this thing, but it's so hard to get into it. Everyone tries to block you and blah, blah, blah. Or like, for instance, if you're trying to pull into traffic or something, right? It's like, oh my God, no one's going to let me in. No one's going to let me in. Everyone's just so selfish and they're trying to get where they're going. And nobody's going to let me in. You're creating that reality. And you're eventually either someone's going to let you in or the traffic is going to slow down so that you have a way in. You're not stuck in that place forever, number one. Number two, by thinking in those limited circles and watching the patterns and assuming that this is the only way there is, you're creating resistance and clenching, tightness, right, within yourself, which makes it even harder to manifest things, right? Manifesting requires expansion, it requires curiosity, it requires open-heartedness, to be able to see or believe beyond what is seen, right? And just look at any, let's see. Well, like I remember growing up watching Star Trek and they have their communicators, right? And like, whoa, that is so space age, blah, blah, blah. And all of a sudden we have phones that, I mean, they're basically, in fact, the first phones looked, not the first ones, but eventually the compact phones looked like communicators because that's what they were based on. right? And it was because of the vision of Gene Roddenberry and the TV show that people were inspired, and the people who were inventing cell phones, etc., were inspired by Star Trek, and so the phones fit the, resembled the actual um, communicators in Star Trek. I mean, that's just one little example, but it's like of all the things, like as a kid, like that you believed, like like there's this really good song by Brad Paisley. And it's like Welcome to the Future, and he talks about how, as a kid, being in a car for 7 hours with his family, wishing he had a TV that he could watch his shows on, and all of a sudden, boom, we have that. It was almost beyond imagining. Just a few years ago, and all of a sudden we have the ability to watch whatever we want on the plane, on the car trip, wherever we're going. We bring that TV with us, right? When I was a kid, that was like beyond imagining. That was like, it was really cool to think about, to see it on Star Trek and stuff, but never imagined that we would see that in our lifetime. So it's stuff like that. So don't let the appearance of the physical world lull you into that hypnotic state where you don't think anything else is possible. Because if you're watching this, you are on a spiritual path. You came here to create new things. You didn't come just to fall into line, do the work, go home, go to bed, go to work, etc., etc. You came here to change the world. In order to change the world, you have to see beyond what is to what could be. And it doesn't necessarily happen overnight, but everything changes, and it's like I read what was the book called? It was about introverts and how like 10% of the world is introverts and 90% of the world are extroverts. And that it's the introverts that are kind of the creative force that come up with the ideas, that come up with the dreams, that come up with the visions, right? And then it's the extroverts who figure out how to make those physical, how to bring them into reality, right? So we are the visionaries, right? And it's like I'm an artist as well as a shaman, and I love how the intersection of those two roles involve visualizing, like seeing beyond the physical, right? When I do a shamanic journey, my job is to go into the spirit realm to see things that can be, to find other energies that aren't here right now or whatever, and to bring those back to heal this world. And to bring back stories, to bring back artwork, right? TV shows or whatever the medium is, to make that vision of a possible future available to those who may not be able to see it on their own. Does that make sense? So, Tiffany, you are a dreamer. Utilize the power of your dreams. Dream big, right? And like, I was just thinking about this today. There's one of my favorite quotes from Dr. Wayne Dyer is that no one knows enough to be a pessimist. there is so much vastness of information and people and things happening that you there you can have how do I put this into words? You can't know all the variables. And so it's pointless to be pessimistic because there are always things happening behind the scenes, right? In the unknown, in the unseen, that you can't take into account because it's like I've said before, you need to make sure you leave room for miracles. Like I saw Mercedes Lackey speak one time. She's an author of fantasy books and such. And she was saying in her process of writing that a lot of times she'll have, she has the beginning of the story. She knows where it starts, and she knows kind of the first developments of it, and she kind of knows where it's going, what the end is going to look like. But in between, as she's filling out her like index cards, right, for the plot points and such, she'll have a cause and she'll have the effect, but not sure how this turns into this. So in between them, she puts an index card, basically insert miracle here. So when you are needing something or desiring something, know that desire, that need is, I've never put it in these words before, but this is what's coming through. That desire or need or passion is a promise from the universe that what is being desired actually exists, because you would have no sense of what it feels like for it to be missing unless you knew what it feels like to have it, whether it's conscious or unconscious, right? So if you're desiring something, that is the universe's, that's a gift from the universe, that's a compass to tell you which way to go. And if you desire it, if it's like from the heart, it is possible. And so put that belief into yourself. Put that belief not in the world to bring your dreams, make your dreams come true, or on the, evening star or whatever. Believe in yourself. Believe in your connection to Creator, right? Where, I grew up Catholic, and one of the things I always said was, nothing is impossible with God, right? And Wayne Dyer actually said one time, he's like, what part of everything is possible with God don't you understand? So expect miracles. In fact, there's another. Gosh, Wayne Dyer is really coming through tonight. Another Wayne Dyer thing that he said was, "I am a realist. I expect miracles." And even Seth said that miracles are what happens when nature is unimpeded. Miracles are the natural progression of nature. It's the natural process. And so don't box yourself in by what you think is possible or what other people are going to allow you to do. Okay? You have that desire in your heart, go for it. Take it to the highest possible imaginings that you can, right? And remember that when you are manifesting a dream, when you are manifesting something, it may not look exactly the way you think it might look. So focus on the feeling that whatever that is will bring you. Imagine how you will feel, the feeling of relief or the feeling of arrival that you will have once this thing is physical. And then focus on that feeling, because it's the feeling that you're actually trying to manifest. And as you're feeling it, to manifest it, you're proving to yourself that you can feel it without it being physical, right? That's the power of imagination. That's our creative force to move forward, right? So keep dreaming, right? Dream big. Realize that the power, the center of your world is what you believe, what you expect, your thought patterns, and your relationship with Creator, what you believe is possible, right? God, I could spend the whole couple hours on just the one card. Um, I'm going to leave it there. I'm going to leave it right there. So I hope that's helpful, Tiffany, because I just spent a quarter of our time on one card. And so we need to be moving on. And if there's anyone that's come in late, we still have one spot left. If you would like a one card reading, all you need to do is say yes in the comments. Otherwise, I will see what my guides want me to do if we only have, pardon me, only have 4. Give me a second here. I have some issues with my foot. I've got bandaging on my foot and I needed to fix that. So you are so welcome, Tiffany. I hope that made sense. I hope that was pertinent to whatever you're going through. But never limit yourself. Know that there is always a way. Anything is possible. When you wish upon a star, makes no difference who you are. Anything your heart desires will come to you. All right, card number 2 for Sarah. Sarah Lily. Bum, 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 bum. Bum, 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 bum. I always tell people that one of the things that has saved me through my life is that while other people were moving on to other movies and such, I never stopped watching or believing in Disney movies. I always believed what Walt Disney told me. And it still works. Bum, 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 ba-da, bum. All right, card number 2 for Sarah. We have alligator in reverse. All right. So alligator is, give me a second, because alligator is a pretty complex totem. I'm just writing down the cards that come up so that I can do the final spread at the end. But alligator in reverse it can be a sense of rebirth. Alligator is actually one of the best mothers in the animal kingdom. She not only guards and protects her nest, she actually shifts the soil, turns the soil in the nest with the eggs to make sure that the eggs get equal amounts of heat from the sun and coolness from the earth. And so with alligator in reverse, it could be that you're feeling kind of in the dark right now. Things are uncertain and things are topsy-turvy, right? Um, but know that there is purpose to all of it. Know that even when things feel topsy-turvy, that that is the universe taking care of you. There's this concept I love. It's called like divine detours, right? And um, for example, I heard a inspirational speaker at one point talking about a friend of him came to him and he was late for their lunch or something, and he was all grumbly and cursing because this stupid guy cut him off on the freeway and made him late and all this stuff. And the speaker was like, that car that cut you off just saved your life. And he's like, what? And the speaker was like, that could have been a divine detour. Like if you had kept going as you were, there may have been another car ahead of you that was going to slam into you or something like that. And so with the idea that you're always in the right place at the right time, that the universe has always got your back, is always taking care of you, even those inconveniences, even the things when we want it, we're champing at the bit to get going, etc. Right? Um, but it's not coming. It's not happening yet. It's like that's the universe slowing you down so that with divine timing, you will be at the right place. You will be the right person at the right frequency to receive whatever that is. And so the universe will send you on divine detours. It will make the world kind of topsy-turvy, and it will seem like everything's out of control, which it technically is because everything is always out of control, right? We don't have control. Um, and that's a good thing, right? It's like trusting the unfolding of the universe and knowing that everything that happens um, is moving you closer to your more authentic self, your higher self, your dreams, whatever you want to insert into that sentence. But even when things are topsy-turvy, it's the universe still preparing you. And the fact like of being in the egg, being in the dark, right? That egg, that darkness is the womb of the cosmic mother, right? And when you're in the womb of your mom, you are safer than any other time in your life. So even when things are topsy-turvy and dark and you can't see your way through and you don't know what's going to happen, know that you are so protected at that time, that the reason things are topsy-turvy is because they're rearranging, like I said earlier about the outside world reflecting the inner world. The outside world is rearranging itself, recalibrating itself to become what actually fits who you are becoming. And so it doesn't necessarily make it any easier, like physically, but I find that when I can keep that perspective, when I can keep that knowingness in my mind while things are falling apart, it does help me like not go over the edge, right? And you know, once the baby alligators hatch, the mama gator takes them in her mouth and takes them down to the river and teaches them how to swim. So alligator is not just this cold-blooded prehistoric lizard, right? Alligator is this mother, a caring, nurturing mother creating community. And along with that, alligator has been unchanged for literally millions and millions and millions of years, right? Because she is so well adapted to her environment. You know, she's the apex predator in her environment. She's perfectly suited to the river life and all of that. And what that means is that alligator carries this unbroken chain, this unbroken channel of of deep primal earth goddess divine feminine wisdom, unchanged, unbroken from the beginning of time. And so everything that's happening right now is getting you closer to the realization of that wisdom, the awareness of that connection. So trust that. See if you like keeping that mindset, surrendering to the process, knowing that nothing will be taken from you. Nothing can be taken from you that is yours. If something leaves, either it will come back if it's actually a part of you, or if it goes away and doesn't come back, it was never yours in the beginning, from the beginning, okay? And if things are leaving, they are making space for the new things to come in. Kind of like a snake shedding its skin, right? Snake doesn't shed its old skin and then grow its new skin. It's the growth of the new skin that that makes the old skin dry up and start to peel off and shed. So if things are falling away, if things are being shed from your life, it's because there's something bigger that's pushing its way into your life. It's not two separate things. It's the same thing. This new coming into your life. And so the more you can detach from the actual things that are happening or the things that are changing, and trust that feeling within you, again, that feeling of connected to creator, connection to creator, the more grace you'll be able to face these changes with, and you will land on your feet. As I said that, I saw Black Widow, like Scarlett Johansson, like doing the hero landing, right? But trust the process. Trust that there are bigger things, that there is bigger purpose for you. And it's that purpose that is actually causing the changes. Yeah. So I hope that is helpful. We still have one card left if people, we've got an empty slot if anyone wants it. Although, as loquacious as I am being tonight, might not have time for another card. So we'll see how it works out. All right, card number 3 for Anna. Okay. This literally jumped out of the deck. You're welcome, Sarah Lily. I hope that made sense. I hope that's helpful. Everything's going to be okay. everything is going to work out. Okay. All right. Card number 3. 3 for Anna is links in reverse. We're having all the cards so far coming up reverse. Links. Let me feel into her. Lynx is the keeper of secrets. And many people connect her to the Sphinx, right? The keeper of secrets, the one you had to answer the riddle of the Sphinx to go forward or whatever. And she doesn't volunteer information. She doesn't volunteer things. You have to inquire. You have to ask. And what I'm getting a little different from what I normally say with links, but it's not so much information that you're seeking or the secrets that you're like the secrets of the universe kind of thing. It's more, it feels more like feeling isolated from your guidance, right? And guides are similar to vampires in that they want to help you, but you have to ask, right? Which is a really hard thing for people in our society to really get a handle on, because we're taught about that rugged individualist and pulling yourself up from the boots by the bootstraps and being independent and I can do it on my own and all that kind of stuff. But in the spiritual realms, that's ego. I can do it myself. I don't need help. That's setting yourself apart from the universe, which is cutting off all the bridges to the guidance that you're seeking. And so it's like face each day as though, okay, I'm trying to put this into words, what my guides are saying. Face each day with a feeling of connection, with a feeling of, what word am I looking for? The feeling of gratitude, right? Because that opens the door, especially when you can thank the universe for things that haven't happened yet, right? That's your way, that's the way of asking for help. It's like, thank you, and showing that trust that things are going to happen. But starting each day, and this could be kind of Taoist or Zen, but like I just keep thinking of Alan Watts and like going with the assumption that you know nothing, that you can't do anything on your own. Because from the ego standpoint, you can, right? And so assuming that, not in a self, um, what's the word? Not in a way of tearing yourself down, putting yourself down, but in a way of saying, and I find myself doing this all the time, I don't know what to do. Show me the way. Clear the path before me. Thank you for clearing the path before me. Thank you for making the synchronicities happen, that I find the information that I need. And so again, it's that surrendering, that opening up to possibilities, opening up to receive the information or the guidance, to move in the right direction. Does that make sense? And I've talked before about, in shamanism, we talk about the shaman being the hollow bone, right? Where that spirit moves through into the world, right? We become the eyes and the voice and the hands of spirit. And so Lynx is like kind of the matron of that whole idea, because the reason she can see all the secrets is because she has none of her own. She's already faced the shadows within her. She's already faced all the issues, and she's cleared them out to become that hollow bone so that there's more space for spirit to move through her into the world. And so again, it's like that, I don't know what I'm doing. Show me the way. This seems impossible to me. This seems so daunting. Help me find, help me see the way, clear the path before me. And when you do that, rather than being, rather than like when you're like, oh, I can do this myself, I don't need any help, blah, 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 which lowers your frequency, that sets you apart from the universe and isolates you because you're becoming heavier. That openness is what allows you to rise. Your frequency rises so that not only are you open to more guidance, but you yourself are at a higher level that you can see. You're at a higher perspective. So there's more openness around you to be able to see possibilities that you couldn't see from down in the valley, right? So ask for help. Ask your guides for help. Ask for guidance. Ask for clarity. Ask for the eyes to see what is truly in front of me. Give me the eyes to see beyond appearances. And see what happens. And as something else my guides are prompting me to say, because Anna, I know you've been on your spiritual path for a really long time. And sometimes, this is one of the things I've experienced, it's like we start on the spiritual path and we have these issues come up and we clear them out and we're doing really well. And we have small growth opportunities, small issues that come up from time to time. And then all of a sudden we're hit with something huge. Like, I thought I already cleared this. I thought I already faced this. Why is this coming up right now? And And the idea with that hollow bone, where your job is to clear as much space as you can, to clear out any of the shadows, any of the gunk, any of the um, false belief systems or thoughts. Um, After you've done a lot of work, right? Like if you're washing your pots and pans, some of the older pots and pans have like carbon or things actually cooked onto them, and you kind of wash them and they still have kind of that um, have the darkness of being burnt or having food burnt into it, which you know and as you move forward, it's like everything has to go. And so sometimes after you've been on the path for a long time, some of that stuff that's caked on, that's baked on to the inside of the pan, actually starts to come off. And that's when these old, like these deep, long held issues come up because they've been there the longest. And so it's not that you're doing anything wrong. It's not that you're doing anything bad. It's actually a sign of, I know I did a reading for you last week. I don't remember if it was you I was talking to or someone else, a different client. But there was this sense of you've actually earned the right to face and clear these issues. You've done all the work to get to this point where there's space enough for this issue to come up, and you've got the skills and the know-how and the trust in the universe to be able to handle them. So in a way, it's a sign of resilience, a sign of how far you've come, because you will never get anything that is beyond your ability to handle, right? And so if there's something coming up that's really big, really deep, really like from really long time ago, it wouldn't be coming up unless you had the ability to handle it, to clear it, to heal it. So again, trust. Know that I wrote a song a long time ago. It's not me who has to do this, but the spirit of my soul. Everything. No, how does the rest of it go? All I need is to surrender to the wisdom of the whole. Everything is taken care of, and all pieces are in place. And no matter what appearances. So, oh crap. My Anyway, the idea being that it's not in tightening down and pushing forward that gets you through. It's in opening up and surrendering, knowing that there is a higher picture, that the universe has your back. The universe has the plan, has the blueprints. And all you need to do, it's not that easy, but um, your best course is to surrender, to feel what comes up and release what comes up, to clear that, and to trust the unfolding of your path in front of you. You're always in the right place at the right time. And whatever is in front of you is the path. And the universe will use whatever's in front of you to bring you home. So give yourself grace. Go easy on yourself. Don't blame yourself for not knowing what the next best step is. Just like looking into your past, don't blame yourself for not knowing back then what you know now, because you did everything to the best of your ability, what you knew at that time. The same is true right now. Don't blame yourself for not knowing what to do. Use it as an opportunity to connect and to surrender. And in surrendering, to be filled with spirit, to be filled with that divine light, to carry you forward, and that's what clears the path ahead of you. That higher frequency, right? So I hope that is helpful, Anna. All right, Carly. Card number 4 for Carly. And we still have one spot left. If there's any takers, maybe I'll, if no one else does it, maybe I will pull one for myself. I've never done that on here before. Okay. Carly. Oh, excuse me. Ha, cool. All right, Carly. Card number 4 is possum. Everything is possumable. Possum, of course, is the actor of the animal kingdom, right? Like playing possum. When they are threatened, possum, it's actually a chemical thing. They're not just falling over and playing dead. There's actually a chemical thing that happens so that they actually start to smell like rotting flesh or whatever, and it kind of knocks them out temporarily. But if Possum believed his own acting, eventually it would be a self-fulfilling prophecy, right? Because, oh, I'm dead. Oh, crap, I'm really dead. And he would lay there until he starved to death or whatever, right? So Possum is about realizing that you are the hero of your story, right? Realizing that you are an actor on the stage that is your life, that you are the star of that play or that production. Everyone else are supporting characters. They are the star of their own show, but where their show and your show intersects, you are the star of the show, right? And it reminds me of a lot of the stuff that Abraham Hicks talks about, because he's like, nobody has the power to influence you in ways that you don't agree to or that you don't believe, etc. So it's like, you are not a victim. You are not at the will of anyone else. That you are a divine being, right? You're already whole. You're already perfect. You're already divine. And you are in this physical world. And your role is to anchor that light of knowing. It's like if you were into theater or anything like that, and you know what the fourth wall is, right? Some of you know this. I'm besides of being a shaman, I'm also a cartoonist, and a lot of times my comic characters will talk to me as if there is no fourth wall. As if, a lot of comics, it's like they're in the action, it's their world in pen and ink, black and white, or color, whatever their medium is, but they're not self-aware. But my comic characters, one in particular, is always yelling at me because I don't draw them enough. Or if I draw them too many days in a row, it's like, God, I need a break. Lame brain cartoonist, that kind of thing. And so it's like having this self-awareness that you are in a play. The world is a stage and each of us must play a part. And so it's like that's the opening to God, my thoughts, everything is going so fast. There's a quote, my favorite quote by Oscar Wilde is, "Life is too important to be taken seriously." And when you realize that this world is a dream, that this world is an illusion, it may feel solid for a while, right? But the heart of the matter, is in the unseen. Everything has a spirit. Everything has consciousness. Everything in the physical realm has consciousness, has spirit, is vibration, right? There's only one of us here. We're all part of the same creative matrix of energy. And so when you start to realize that, that's what allows you to manifest things. That's when the synchronicities happen. That's when, the good luck or the good fortune starts, because you're living beyond just the four walls that enclose you, right? You have that opening. Crown chakra to the spirit realm to influence and heal the physical world. There's this awesome movie. It's called Rosencrantz and Guildenstern Are Dead. And Rosencrantz and Guildenstern were like Hamlet's best friends. And so it's basically the Hamlet play, but done from the perspective of Rosencrantz and Guildenstern. So everything that happens in the play of Hamlet is happening in the background, but we're getting the interaction between Rosencrantz and Guildenstern. Kind of like there was a movie, I think it was Lion King 2.5 or something like that, and it was the Lion King movie, but was totally from Timon's and Pumbaa's point of view. And so sometimes the main characters would show up and their story would intersect with Timon and Pumbaa's story. And then they would go off, and then Timon and Pumbaa would follow off on their own path, right? And so that's your life. You are not the star of anyone else's show. You are not beholden to anyone else to follow their script. You are the director, the creator, the actor who is acting this part, right? It's like ego is ego, personality, your physical body is who you are in this world. But you are the actor, not the character. And there's a book that I am always recommending to people, and it's by Jane Roberts, who was the channel for Seth, who I mentioned earlier. And it's called The Education of Oversoul 7. And it's the story of Oversoul 7, who is the Oversoul, but in medieval times, he's this person. In the 50s, he's this person. In the 25th century, he's this person, but he's the oversoul of all of them. Each of these different personalities, if they're on a spiritual quest and are tracing back to who they truly are, Oversoul 7 is who each of them actually is. Does that make sense? So each of them are like the actors, the characters. No, they're the characters. Oversoul 7 is the actor. Put into these different frameworks, these different situations, etc., to experience them, to learn from them. And all of that wisdom and learning goes back to Oversoul 7. And so you are not the personality, you are not the ego, you are not the physical being that is here on the earth. You are so much more. You are that indomitable spirit that animates the physical form. You are, you have a higher self someplace, right? That is who you really are. And your physical self is a reflection of an aspect of that higher self. Does that all make sense? I don't want to get it more complicated than, I want to try to keep things simple, but I'm afraid I'm getting more complicated. But one thing I learned from Sandra Ingerman, she had us, because she's also a therapist. I don't know if she's a psychiatrist or just does counseling, etc. But so she's gone through all of that. And one of the things, I can't remember who it was from, but she taught us this: you have a body, you are not a body. You have thoughts, you are not your thoughts. You have emotions, you are not your emotions. So when you start, I've talked about this before, again, with Dr. Wayne Dyer. He had this assignment for his students where they had to write a paragraph about who they were, but they couldn't use labels. They couldn't say, I am this, or I am that. And when you start taking the labels away, it becomes, how do I say this in words? It's almost impossible to say in words. Who you truly are is a feeling, is experiential. It's not who you think you are. It's not in the head, right? And even in Zen Buddhism, they say you can't think yourself to enlightenment, because enlightenment is an experience. And it's the same way. You can't know yourself in the mind. The job of the mind is to separate things, to help us discern between things, to keep us from walking into a wall rather than walking through the doorway. The heart is what unifies things. The heart is what sees the wholeness. And it's only in the heart that you can know yourself, because it's an experience. And there's a depth to it that you can't even begin to describe in words, that your mind cannot even conceptualize. Kira, the Kit Kat's on the prowl. Missy, you got some food over here still? And so life is an improv. You are not, I just have 7444 on the counter. So we got 7 and 444. So it's like angels. Your life is an improv. We are all making it up as we go. There is no script. And people try to, and that's part of that hypnosis thing, right? Being hypnotized into the routine of things. And someone says this, and so I have a limited number of responses to that. And then they say this, and then I say that. And there's no vibrancy, there's no vitality, there's no life to that. So bring life to your life, right? That's what they mean by live. That one song, I want to live while I'm alive, kind of thing. That every moment is a brand new moment, that every moment is a moment of creation, and that you have an infinite number of possibilities. You don't just have a script with 2 or 3 replies. And when you live authentically, you live from the heart, you don't need a script. Kyle Cease, who I've mentioned off and on before, who does like week-long retreats and stuff. And he gets up and he wings it. He never has notes. He never has things written down, because anything he writes down beforehand and then recites is not being authentic. And his whole point is about being present, being authentic, and allowing everything to come through that needs to come through. And he's able to sustain that for weeks at a time. And so trust the unseen. Trust that you are more than your body, and that when it's time to say things, things will come out of your mouth. When it's time to do something, you know, I seriously do this. I've mentioned this before, but if I have a big decision to make, a lot of times I'll stop and I will think to myself, okay, when they make a movie of my life, what would be the coolest thing I could do right now? And I make decisions based on that thought, on that question. Because really, when you get to the end of your life, all you have is stories, right? Stories and your own personal mythology. And so if you think about that, like, what stories do you want to have when you're ready to go, right? What like, the only thing you will regret is the path you didn't take. The sky is the limit. You are unlimited. Be weird. Be goofy. Do what brings you joy, not what's acceptable, right? So don't be afraid to stick out, because it's when we throw away our script and start responding authentically to those around us, right? They come at us with their script and they say something, and we answer with something totally out of left field. And they're like, wait, what page are you on? Flip, flip, flip. And they're trying to figure out, wait, that's not on my script. And so they are forced to improv and have to move from their heart in the moment authentically with whatever response they have for you in your authenticity. So play and have fun with it. You are meant to be joyful. You came here. This is a playground. We are all kids playing in a sandbox. And like Oscar Wilde said, life is too important to be taken seriously. Manifest your dreams. Do what is joyful. Do what is fun. So I hope that's helpful, Carly. And we have no other takers for the 5th card. So I am just going to do a 4-card group reading. If I can remember how to do one. So I need to flip through and find the cards. Alligator, lizard, what was the other one? Lynx. You are the weakest lynx. Goodbye. There you are. All right. Hi, Kit Kat. Here you go. Missy, Missy. Kira. Hi, Kira. Choomp. 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 So I had someone who used to do 4-card readings, and I'm trying to remember what each one represented. Okay, this is a little bit of a stretch, so thank you for bearing with me. I'm going to move the phone downward so you can see the card, and let's, okay, zoom in a little bit. And so since we only had 4 cards tonight, this is what our spread looks like. Put them close together so you can see all of them. Wait, I'm gonna do it this way because I want it to be from your perspective. So you've got the reverse cards in the order they were pulled, and then possum. Okay, so I'm kind of remembering now. Thank you, my guides. So first card is, this is the quest. This is the question. This is the original question. This is the challenge, what you need to overcome. This is your strength. And this is the outcome. So the quest, with lizard in the place of being the quester, the questing beast, lizard in reverse, it's like the quest is for a bigger, is the quest is to fulfill your dreams. I'm not sure how I'm feeling kind of off on this. But the quest is basically, how can I make my dreams come true? In reverse, it's like the dreamer who is so ensconced in the physical world that dreams seem to be just some gossamer, misty wish that they have no reality. And so the quest is to reach for those dreams, to be able to dream and to believe in those dreams, to kind of liberate yourself from that idea that the physical, if I can't see it, it's not real kind of thing. And this could be like there might be a situation, a meeting of someone, like meeting someone who changes the course of your life, introduces new ideas. It might be an accident that happens or an illness that happens to make you start to seek beyond the physical, to actually seek help outside of the physical system, right? Like I have a friend who is this amazing, amazing Reiki master. And the way she first started doing Reiki is because she had, she was diagnosed with something that, though not like terminal or anything like that, it wasn't something that medical science could cure. And so she turned to alternative things. She turned beyond the physical, beyond the seen, and opened up this whole doorway of energy and of healing. And so that is the quest. It's like there's like, and it's kind of the hero's journey, right? It's like something happens where you need to seek out help or seek out the answer or the medication or the grail, whatever it is. And so the next one is kind of the main challenge that's standing in your way. And so we have alligator here in reverse. And so alligator is also about integration. Alligator, because she floats in the water with just her eyes above, and her eyes are on the side of her head, so she can see the entire 360-degree panorama around her. Hi, Kit Kat. Missy, here, Kira. And so her life is totally integrated. She knows at every moment that she is the center of her world, that she is the common denominator of everything in her world, that she doesn't have a fractured reality where it's like social life is over here, family life is over here, work life is over here somewhere, and none of them match up, none of them connect. She is the one that can see the entire thing. So everything is integrated. She knows exactly how this thing over on this side connects to this thing over on this side. Hi, Kira. And so in reverse, it's like the challenge, the thing standing in your way of this quest is just seeing separation, seeing fragments and fractures and how nothing makes sense. Nothing is connected. That's like your initial, because you're trying to you're trying to get the butterfly's perspective with the caterpillar's mindset. The caterpillar only knows, well, the caterpillar is earthbound. The caterpillar his world is only like this big, right? He might live his entire life on one single leaf. But the butterfly can circumnavigate the globe, right? And so, from the caterpillar's viewpoint, it's just this stuff, and there's nothing beyond this world. Very definite limits, very definite boundaries. And so, coming into this quest, that's the biggest thing to overcome, is to start seeing the connection of everything, to see how everything actually is one, everything actually works together, and every part of the puzzle affects and is connected to every other part of the puzzle. And so the solution to this is links, right? And like I said, links is the keeper of secrets. Links is the hollow bone. And so the answer, the solution to this conundrum is to surrender, to move beyond the mind into the heart, and to let go of all of the thoughts, all of the lessons that we've been taught since childhood about how everything is separate, how every person is separate, and that life is a balancing act between those who have and those who have not, that some people are more valuable than other people, or whatever the framework is, and to move past all of those false patterns, those false beliefs, and to start to see the integration. It's like you already are whole, right? You already are divine. You're already a high frequency being of light. And so it's not so much having to acquire something or achieve something. It's about dropping the thoughts and the limits that are keeping you back from seeing the wholeness of who you already are, of being able to gaze. I mean, look at those eyes. Being able to gaze through reality rather than at reality. And to have, all cats are apex predators too, right? And cats especially are about sovereignty. And their heart is their authority. Their mind and their heart are so in sync that thought and action are basically one thing. And so this is about claiming that sovereignty of realizing the authority of your heart, and realizing, along with this, trying to integrate everything and connect everything, that your highest good, your highest fulfillment is actually for the highest good and the highest fulfillment of everybody on the planet. That we're all connected. When we all do better, we all do better, right? And so that is the answer, the answer to that challenge. And the outcome to all of this is this realization of being the actor, not the character. This wider vision, this surrendering to your greater self, brings you this higher perspective where you can look beyond the four walls, right? To see behind the scenes, to be aware of things happening and shifting behind the scenes, beyond what is seen, right? And one of the things I love about a possum is that they are actually immune to most toxins. Um, I heard that it would take 80 some rattlesnake bites before the opossum would start to feel it. And so, as you're gaining this perspective, as you're becoming that hollow bone and allowing spirit to move through you as you integrate everything, this is what you're seeking, is that higher perspective of who you are. And when you know yourself to be that higher being, when you raise your frequency to more of your true self, to your authenticity, to the purity of being, you become immune to the slings and arrows of the daily world. Things of the world can't harm you. I mean, realistically, yes, you could still have an accident, something has still happened to you physically and you die or whatever. But even that, if that should happen from this perspective, there is purpose to that, whatever it is. Because you hold to life lightly. Not that you're in a hurry to die or anything, or hurry to return to spirit, but because you've infused your physical life with spirit, you live your life with more vitality, with more curiosity, with more vivaciousness, right? Than you would if you just believed yourself to be a physical being and that's it. So this is where we're headed individually and as a community, right? We're moving out of this limited view of only what's seen, and we're in the process of the challenges of bringing things together. Things seem separate and random, but we're starting to pull the pictures together, reaching for a higher perspective of love and respect, and the human race as one family, etc. And where that's taking us is to this realization of the impermanence of the world, the impermanence of the physical reality, um, that this is, like I said earlier, this whole world is an illusion, it's a dream, it's a production, it's children playing in a sandbox. So everything is malleable, everything is changeable, nothing lasts forever except you, except your soul, who you actually are, not the character, but the actor playing the part. So no matter what happens in the physical realm, you are eternally safe. You're I said indomitable earlier, but it's more of being eternal, being immortal, being beyond space and time. And so there's still a lot of chaos going on, right? Conflict, trying to put the pieces together, having things shattered apart, trying to, as we're trying to put all the pieces outside of ourselves together, the answer is going inward and feeling that, going to the heart of who we actually are. And from that oneness within us, seeing that reflected outward in the world, right? It's kind of the namaste thing, right? The divine in me sees the divine in you, but you have to find it inside rather than outside. This is necessary for this integration. Otherwise, if you integrate things, if you try to pull the puzzle together and change things on the surface, all you're doing is rearranging boxes. No real change is happening. No real healing is happening. The real happening has to happen within each individual and blossom outward. Like Alan Watts says, you didn't come into the world, just like flowers, emerging from the branch. You came out of the world. You blossomed from the world. And so that's the heart that you need to return to in order to pull all these other things together, which leads to this. And this isn't a like, oh, no big deal. If I die, whatever, or I don't have to take anything seriously, so I can just goof around, blah, blah, blah. Actually, this gives you more freedom and more opportunity to play and to create and to see, ooh, what can I create next? Okay, that was awesome. Okay, now if we step it up a little bit, what else can I do? That curiosity that is endemic to all beings. And it's like the Buddhist sand mandalas, right? It's temporary, but that does not take away from the beauty and the meaning and the importance of the image of that creation. And which one is it? Avengers: Age of Ultron, right? At the end, when Vision is talking to the last I don't want to say robot, android, piece of Ultron, and he says, what you've got wrong is that something is not beautiful because it lasts. And talking about humanity, he says, there is grace in their failings, right? It's not perfection. It's not trying to achieve perfection. It's accepting things as they are and reaching beyond what we once thought was possible. Oofda. Whew. All right. Thank you for sitting with me through that. I'm going to actually back this out a little bit. Thank you for bearing with me through that, because that was totally new. I don't know that I've ever done a reading like that before. So that was totally surrendering and trusting on my part. So thank you for witnessing that. Thank you for sticking with me through that. And so that is our evening. Thank you so much for joining me. I keep forgetting. I set sacred space at the beginning, so we want to release that sacred space at the end to release the spirits, let them go back where they came from. Hi, Charles. We just finished. I'm so sorry. We just finished. I'm about to close the circle that we began. But please share my video. If you haven't already, please subscribe to my channel. Yeah, Charles, I just finished the community reading. So we only had 4 cards too. So if you come just a little bit earlier, I could have got you a card. Here. Spider in reverse. Know that you are the creator of your world. You can trust the threads that connect you to all things. You can trust the vibration, right? The web, to know which threads support you and which threads will, in their stickiness, catch you and make you stick to one spot. Trust your knowing, trust your heart, trust your intuition, trust the vibrations, okay? Because you are the creator of your life. You are the spinner of your web. So there you go. All right. So again, thank you. And please subscribe to my channel, like my videos. That helps other people find me. What else was I going to say? Please share my video, of course. And if you enjoyed this and you wanted to support me in a different way, I have my Venmo link in the description. At least I think I do. You might have to look at that again to make sure I did that correctly. But anything you give me goes straight to me to support me on my path as a shaman, so that I have more to share with you on your path. It's beautiful reciprocity. And if you would like a personal reading with me, you can visit my website at perchingwolfstudios.net. You can sign up right from the website, and you can learn a little bit more about me. You can see the different services I offer, readings and teachings and healings, oh my. And so you can sign up for any of those. Besides the readings and the healings, I also do one-on-one mentoring if that's something, if you're desiring a teacher. I would be glad to talk and to see if we fit. If we work well together, whatever, to become your your mentor. That's what I would be. And I also have some classes. I keep talking about them, and I keep not getting them out there. But I've got a number of classes coming out. I'm going to be starting in February. So keep an eye out for that. You can watch my Facebook page. I usually update that more often than I update my website, actually. So if you want to follow my Perching Wolf Studios Facebook page, I usually have the information up there. And what else? I guess that's it. So let us close our sacred space, release the spirits who so lovingly held the sacred space for us tonight. Spirits of the earth, spirits of the air, spirits of the fire, spirits of the water, spirits of the upper world, spirits of the lower world, compassionate spirits of the middle world, the Fae, the spirits of the land, the ancestors of the land. Thank you for your presence. Thank you for holding us in your live in your light. Our work for now is done, but you are always welcome in our circles. Thank you for welcoming us into yours. Oh. All right, my friends, thank you so much for joining me. I hope tonight was helpful. I hope you learned something. And I hope you will join me again next week, same bat time, same bat channel. And until I see you again, know that I love you, that I see you, and that I honor you. Have a wonderful week, everyone, and go shining. All right, bye now.